Chapter 5, my favorite one. 6 words and your seat in the room. This is the last chapter, and it has two things. One is the smallest tool in the building. It'll seem insignificant. And then who you'll find in here. But I can tell you that this one tool will change everything. It compounds. It compounds more so than any other thing in here or anywhere else that I've seen, to be honest. That is a 6 word update. So after you engage, you do a rep, after you read a book, after you finish a chapter, try to consolidate what you learned into exactly 6 words. It does a few things. It forces you to be specific. It forces your brain to try to process what it is and prioritize. Oh my God, there was so much. Well, what are the 6 words? So not five, not seven, six forces your brain to actually think. It's compression. It's compressing down these concepts. And so it becomes the simplest interpretation of what you just experienced. And it does cost you something, which is why it works. It costs you brain power, it costs you focus, it costs you a little bit of time. And so you take it, you just watch a video. What did that mean to you in 6 words? Do that 6 word update. It also does something really cool over time that nothing else does that I've ever seen. So you read a book or a chapter or a course or whatever it is, you write your 6 words. 6 months later, 7 months later, 8 months later, you read the book again and you write your 6 words. Then you can compare them and you will see how different your perspective is from the first time you read it to the second time you read it. Same book, different person, right? No man steps in the same river twice, that whole thing. And so you get perspective from your previous self and you can see your own growth. You can see we've all been there, right? Where we watched a movie the second time and you're like, wow, I got a totally different message this time. Well, yeah, you're in a different place. So the 6 word update allows you to see your own progress, update your operating system, and then imagine if you have a community of people where we all just read the same book, like a book club, and we all provide our 6 word updates. What happens is you start developing tremendous perspective and empathy because it's like watching a football game and you're watching it in high definition in slow motion, and half the people swear he caught the ball and the other half swear he didn't. You're watching the same thing, but you're seeing something different. So what the 6 word update does as a group is you just read the same exact page and you make your 6 word update. And when you see other people's 6 word updates, one, you'll be like, wow, that's a totally different perspective. They got something totally different out of this than I did. So that develops that perspective. And two, somebody might extract something from it that you look at and say, wow, that is very profound. And it might benefit you more than your own 6 word update. And so you have a collective wisdom, collective momentum, and you're constantly compounding your own knowledge and you're keeping a record of it. And so 6 word update is a big piece in our world. Okay, so 6 word update. You'll see yours archived if you choose to do the exercise, which I strongly recommend, and you'll also see a scrolling wall from time to time of others. That's the collective wisdom. That's sound bites. And what makes it more powerful than a standard sound bite is it didn't just come in on Twitter as a profound message. You're working from the same resource. So when you see the 6 word update, you also have all of the context of the program or course they're talking about, right? So if 500 people listen to this audio and make 6 word updates, you'll see all the different perspectives and interpretations of this audio. It's not just a bunch of random profound statements about a bunch of random unrelated stuff. So it's less theory and it's more immediately applicable. So hopefully that makes sense. We want to keep the loops open. You want to work your 6 words, right? That's part of keeping a loop open. And if your 6 words a year from now are different than your 6 words from today, then the more different that is, the more growth there was, the more effective the open loop was. If you read a book and you make a 6 word update, and then a year later you read the same book and you have the same experience, you didn't grow. We already know the book is the same. But if you interpret it exactly the same, you messed up. You stop growing. You don't have a new perspective. You don't have a new problem. You don't have a new lens. You're the same person you were a year ago, and that means no growth. So you can measure your growth through 6-word updates, believe it or not. And then the last thing, you're going to hear from me. It comes on paper. I mail it. If you're in the arena, you're going to get my letter, which is where 99% of my mind goes into every month. So that'll show up in the mail. So it's the clearest, most explicit version of whatever I have for that particular month. And that's kind of my job in the world is the letter, putting together that letter, showing up at the fire. And you'll know what that means if you're in the arena or you're in the letter. So here in the room, in the foundry, you're going to be with other amazing people that are engaging the field, and you're going to be spending a lot of time with Evan. Evan is the president and the dean of the entire foundry. He runs the arena, and he's far better at running a room. He's way more sociable, way more fun. He smiles more, uh, all that fun stuff. So he works it the same way that I put my mind into the source kind of doctrine, the letter. He works the room, and his mind is here with you. So you'll want to read your letter when it lands if you're in the arena. If not, there's a lot of digital stuff. And when appropriate, bring your data to the room. I'll see you in your mailbox, your direct mailbox, and I may see you on an arena, but you'll have the support there. And if you got onboarded this way, I think you'll get a lot out of it.